this record button. All right. Well, guys, what is going on? So glad you're on tonight. I got some stuff I want to share with you. Hopefully that will help you and make you be a little bit better. Just so you know, guys, my goal is that we make tiny shifts, because the one thing I found out in life, there is sometimes we're fortunate enough that things change all of a sudden. But in most cases, a lot of the habits, a lot of the things we've learned, it's not an overnight thing. We're talking lifetime stuff. Some of us are dealing with stuff from when we were 10 and you're 40 or 50 now. And so that means that there's no way on God's green earth, unless there's a divine intervention, we got to leave that in there. There could be a divine intervention to where you can shift and your whole mind shifts and you forget everything about your past. But I'm not finding that happens a lot. Okay, but I do believe in miracles, signs and wonders. So I'm one of those guys too. But the same token, I'm learning that a lot of the bad habits, a lot of things and thoughts, and that's the big key, guys, thoughts. When it comes to developing your business, developing your career, getting yourself in position to win in business, it really goes back to just mindset. Most guys have the talent, they just don't have the mindset to do what needs to be done. I am one of those guys that I'm not smart. I'm actually that guy that I have to read stuff like 10 times in order to get it. I'm that guy that has to do, I'm a systems guy. I'm very regimented in what I do. I'm very structured to where I pretty much, it's sad to say, I go to the same Starbucks. In most cases, I go to the same gym. In other words, everything is structured for me because I don't learn things on the fly very well. It takes me time to absorb it. And even with books, I have to read books, not just once, but twice. So I don't just read a book, put it down, and I got it. I'm that guy that gets the book, I'll read chapter 1, and I might have to go back and reread chapter 1. Everyone learns differently, but the key for me is that you do learn and you make adjustments. And that's the one thing I can truly tell you I'm the master at. I'm believing that in order to get better, we must constantly be willing to shift. I think the hardest thing to get you away from is going to be the stuff you already know. Because what you know, your mama told you, your daddy told you, or you saw it in action. And so now to make you or help you unlearn some things that were learned is more difficult than you already learning from a child. And today I'm going to talk about that difference a little bit on what we learned growing up, how we were taught, how we were brought up. And a lot of things, believe it or not, were not your choice. Your current belief system is not all on you. It's on how you were raised. Anybody on my Zoom, you've been raised a certain way to where money was evil. If that's you, tap that in the Zoom, tap that in my chat. Money was evil. Or people that had money were horrible or evil or mean. And before you know it, you start taking those things and you're learning those things and they become a part of you. All right. So before I get ahead of myself, of course, let's get into the housekeeping on tonight. And let's see if I can pull up my thing. And hopefully my actual Zoom link is good. If you can't hear me at some point, or if I see them like I'm choppy, let me know. I am hooked up to Wi-Fi at my Airbnb or Verbal or one of these places. I have no idea. I'm just here. It's a beautiful thing when you just show up and everything is in place, okay? So tonight we're going to talk about domesticated. This word alone, it freaked me out when I was studying and looking at this, because I'm like, what the heck does it mean to be domesticated? I'm going to tell you here in a few moments. First things first, housekeeping. Those that are watching, if you can, and you're in a position to do so, take some notes. I believe tonight we're going to drop not just little things, but we're going to drop some serious bombs tonight. I believe there's going to be some game-changing moments on tonight that will make you look at, and here's the key, guys, you might not change it, but I'm going to challenge you to at least look at it a different way. Because if we keep looking at things the way, and here's how you can judge it, anything that I tell you, if what you're doing is not working, to keep doing the same thing, I heard it be called insanity. To keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. So that means in order to get better, we have to do better and we have to change. It's the one constant in life. So take some notes if you can, because I do believe we're going to drop some bombs on tonight. Camera on if possible. If you can, if you can't, I totally understand some of you guys at work doing what you do, moving around. But if you can, I'd love to see your smiling faces. It lets me know that you're engaged. And once you're engaged, then I can really now start speaking to, hopefully just to you individually and collectively, where we can get something together. Next thing is chat. Please open up my chat on tonight. If you would, just chat me up. Hey, what's happening? What's going on? Give me your name. Give me something funny. Give me something. Give me something in chat. Let me see if my chat is working. Make sure it's still open and doing what it does. And of course, only unmute if you would when called upon. I definitely, in the beginning, I'm going to give you a little monologue, and then we're going to go into some dialogue. I'm big on, and once again, here's how I learn. I learn best through discussion of what I actually learned. In other words, not only do I like to get information, but I discuss that information with people. I'm great when it comes to books. I have people right now that are reading books. I'm actually I guess this is my own personal book club with about a few folk that actually are reading books that I'm reading, and we're discussing those books. And as we're discussing it, I believe we get better because we're doing that. Okay. So yeah, so definitely let's get ready. I believe I'm ready now. Hold on one second. Let me pop in this next thing, which is this week's wins. Now, guys, this week's wins is so important because you guys all in this Zoom are rock stars, meaning that you do things effortlessly and easily, and so to the point to where you overlook your small wins. I'm going to let you know that you overlooking your small wins makes it to where now you don't celebrate where you should be celebrating, but you focus more on what you didn't do than what you did do. And sometimes just a little win of saying, hey, this week I told myself I was going to go to the gym 2 days. I did it. Boom, win. I told myself I was going to eat, like right now, I'm on this new, I want to call it diet. I think it's going to be more of a lifestyle, but I'm doing intermittent fasting. And I'm going from stopping eating at 8 and not eating again until after 8 in the morning. And it's been a game changer for me. I've actually lost some weight, so I'm excited about that. So I've seen the results from making that change. But for me, that was a win. This week, that was a win. So it doesn't matter how big or small the win is that you acknowledge that you did something good. Then, yes, you look at maybe what didn't go well or maybe what you didn't do, but sometimes we can accentuate that which we didn't do and not look at what you did do. Now, what I'm going to ask is you start giving the same energy to the stuff you did do versus the stuff you didn't do. So, in other words, when you're yelling at your kids for what they didn't do, I want you to give that same energy when they do the right things, okay? Because sometimes we go energy one way, but then we don't go the same energy the other way. So if you jump, scream, and kick rocks and all that stuff and the kids and you're angry, then I want you, when things are going good, the kids do something really, really well, I want you to do cartwheels. I taught my niece the other day that I can still do a cartwheel, doggone it, at 50. But we want to make sure we give that same energy. So with that being said, real quick, I want to open up the chat. I want to hear a win today. I need at least 2 to 3 good wins on today. I don't care what they are. Give me a win that you had since the last time we saw each other.
I have a couple.
Please hit me up.
Well, of course, the one that we talked about today already is Mackenzie graduating kindergarten.
Awesome.
She did very, very well in school. I was so proud of her and super excited. I was beginning to worry a little bit. But another win of mine is that a lot of people don't know that I've never met my biological father. I actually talked to him today. I actually just happened to look him up on Facebook, and I didn't know what he looked like. So I asked my mom if that was him, and she was just like, "Yep, that's him."
Oh, wow.
And so he wants to talk to me tomorrow, so I'm just a little nervous.
That is a huge win, and just you even be open to do so, that is amazing. Wow, congratulations. That's a game-changing moment.
And it is. I was just a little nervous. Well, I still am, because like I said, I've never met him before. We never met face to face. I've never seen him. This is my first time. I mean, it was a little over 18 years ago. Me and my mom had worked in the same mall. I just worked in a different store. And he had went to the shop that she was working at, and he was like, "Hey, I want to see my daughter." And she was just like, "Oh, you can see her. She works at such and such, such and such." And she asked me that evening when I got off, did I see him? And I was just like, no, nobody came to me or said anything. And here it is 18 years later,
Wow.
36. And now, I'll just happen to just look his name up on Facebook, and then there was his picture, and she was just like, yep, that's him.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Well, you know what? I think that's anything we can say today. That was wow. I'm excited for you and looking forward to hearing how that actually goes. I know it will go well.
Yeah, I believe so too.
I know it will go well. Well, anytime, I don't care what nobody says. We all, according to Maslow's hierarchy, we want that longing that we don't want to miss certain things in our life. And that's a big part of it, family, and being able to find out some things about yourself from your dad that you probably didn't even know that you do that he does too.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really exciting. So congratulations, kudos to you. That's going to be amazing. Any other wins out there? That's a huge one, though. That's a huge one. Thank you for sharing, Sade. All right. One more. Delshana, you looking like you got one. You got new blonde hair on. Come on now. I knew you got something, girl. Give me something. It was the old song that say, tell me something good. Pew, pew. Sabrina, that was before your time, girl. You don't know about that.
I know about that one. But my win this week really was reconnecting with some really good friends and just having some real heart-to-heart conversations. Oh, sorry.
After you.
Having some real good conversations. And so, family, friends, social life, the warmness that comes with the love that you have with others is important. And so that was important. And it was a win.
Great win, great win. Well, also too, another win, I went and I saw you officiate a ceremony and you did an amazing job. Great job, Delshana. That was,
Thank you.
I almost want to jump up on the stage and say, that's my people right there. I don't know if there's anybody gonna be more excited about you guys doing stuff than me. It might be somebody else, but I don't know. I get really excited when I see you guys just flowing and doing what you're called to do and moving in those areas. So good job. Good job. All right, guys, well, let's jump into it for a little bit here. And once again, I want to talk about domesticated. Big word, crazy word. And I'm going to hopefully break it down a little bit in the next few minutes to where you can actually understand what I'm talking about. And the word itself, I'm big on definitions because once again, it's the way I learn. It means adapted over time from a wild or natural state to life in close association with and to the benefit of humans. In other words, in its simplest form, it's a way that you can take something from its natural state or inkling and down it or bring it to a place to where now it serves the people around it. Some of you, this is going to touch you a little bit because I'm going to mess with you on the areas that you have become domesticated on. In other words, the areas that you've actually settled in because you didn't want to be different. You didn't want to stand out. You didn't want to use your gifts to their full potential. And I kind of want to bring this from a perspective of, I was thinking about the animals. And you know how, I don't know if you guys have any furry friends. Anybody have any furry friends or family members? I know I do. I have a great one. His name is Samson. We love him to life. But anyway, I ain't even a dog person. I try not to like this dog, but it's something about them dogs, man. Unconditional love. You come in the door, man, they gonna kiss you, snug you. They will act like they ain't seen you in years. But anyway, another story. So I love my dog. But as I was looking at it, I thought about it and I was working on this message. One thing about him, when he first came to me, he was very scary, sketchy. He had been abused, so it was kind of interesting. He tried to run away. He tried to get away from us. He tried to move and do different things. But then over a period of time, he kind of became what we wanted him to become because we started training him. And I'm sure some of you have furry friends that you've trained. And the way you train them is through punishment and reward. And so if they do something bad, you punish them. If they do something good, you give them a reward. Now, for what I found out is when they're doing something bad and we punish them, over a period of time, you keep punishing them for the same thing, they'll start changing, like going potty in the house or just doing crazy stuff, chewing on stuff. So what can happen is after a period of time, you can almost train that animal to be what you want it to be. And the great news is the reason they'll do it is because of the reward system. Like my little doggy, when he did something good, we reward him. And so what would happen is he'd want to look for that reward system. And so instead of doing what he thought he wanted to do, which kind of was his natural state a little bit, then we now made him become something different. Like some of you got dogs that don't even bark. Now I refuse to have a dog that don't bark because to me, everybody in my house has a job. You know, my dog's job is when somebody comes to that door, he better be barking. So you got to be careful not to take a dog from his natural protective state to where you get, I call him a punk dog. You don't need a punk dog, okay? If you got one, God bless you, but you need a dog that's going to be a dog to a certain extent. But what can happen is we can break the dog, just like horses. I don't know if any of you own horses, but you can actually have a horse that's, of course, a wild animal or a wild thing in its natural state. It's a runner. It wants to get out there. It wants to run like the wind. But you can break the horse, put a saddle on him, and make him something that he's not. I know we say horses are made to be ridden, but are they really? Or have we broken them from their natural state? So I wanted to bring this to now humans. How has we of humans been broken from our natural state? Some of you are natural, and I don't want to use the word killers because that doesn't sound good. I don't want to use beast, that don't sound good either. But some of you are highly competitive. Some of you are highly educated, so to the point to where you're smarter than most people that you're in the room with. But somehow, when you've experienced and tried to do that, growing up, your parents might have called you a smarty pants. Or they might have said, oh, you trying to be too smart. Or you think you all that. And so your parents unknowingly, because they did not, I believe, mean to do this, but somehow along the way, they maybe broke you from really exploring how smart you were and had you to dumb yourself down some. If that's you and you're on my thing tonight and you've had to dumb yourself down to make other people feel comfortable, put that in my chat. Because some of you are smarter than the people you're around, but you're afraid to be the smartest person in the room. Because you feel like if I do that, then now my mama told me, don't be a smarty pants. Don't do this. Don't act like you know. Matter of fact, stop using all those big words. Use the small words so people can understand what you're saying. But it just so happens you have built a vocabulary that now you have a lot more to say. Like I don't cuss, or maybe I cuss very, very little. Because I believe that a person cusses when they don't have a vocabulary. And so to me, if you have a vocabulary to say what you mean and understand it, then you don't need to use a bunch of adjectives. But that's just me personally. Now, people that cuss, I ain't mad at them that do, but I found out that it just didn't suit me because really the easiest thing you can do is react with expletives versus respond with a good conversation. Is that making any sense? Now, some people, that's how they were brought up though. You learned how to react to life instead of respond to it. And so now it's kind of domesticated you and made you become something that maybe you weren't naturally. How many of you grew up with dreams of doing great and amazing things, but people broke you because they made you feel like, well, you can't do that. Girls can't do that. You can't say that. Oh, you can't be that. No. You can be something else, but you can't be that. That's not who you're going to be. And before you know it, little by little, like a horse, you got broken. You got broken to the point to where now you became like everybody else. And your life became this common flow. Now, and there are spots that you're actually able to be who you really truly are, depending on the people you're around. But some of you will hide your smarts. If that is you, put it in the chat. They broke me, man. I tried to stay smart, and I'm really, really super smart, but it wasn't popular to be a nerd. Remember back in the day, it wasn't popular to be somebody smart. You had to be somebody like, if anybody was besides me, I was in a class, me and my cousin were the only two in my family that were in this one special class for smart people. Now, it wasn't that I didn't want to act like everybody else. It was my mama's name was Yvonne Williams, and she didn't expect anything less than A's. And so her expectation level for us was up here, but also her level of results, which hence how I'm results driven, was she was all about say less and do more. In other words, don't tell me what you're going to do what you're going to do. And that was good because that helped me to where I could progress and become who I am today. But there's some of you that you got told to be like everybody. Why won't you be like everybody else? Why won't you be like your brother? Why won't you be like your sister? In other words, they try to put you in this box of what they feel comfortable with. Anybody been put in a box to where people want themselves to be comfortable? In essence, they're comfortable, but you become uncomfortable because really who they're wanting you to become is not who you really are. Am I helping anybody tonight? This word domesticated is huge because now it kind of sparked a little something in me, because as I looked at it, no one wants to be punished or separated so we can conform to just normal life. What's normal life? Get a job, pension. Oh, that's a good one, Delshana. That's my favorite point. Family, get the white picket fence, get the home. And for a lot of you, that was the dream for you. Your parents putting you almost like a low level of, well, just graduate. If I just get you out the house with no kids, I mean, just give you these low levels of things that you knew that was nothing. You know, in my mind, every kid should graduate. What is that? Is that optional now? Maybe I'm just an old school parent, but for me, it's like, no, that's stuff that's standard stuff, right? So we have to be careful that, remember that reward and punishment system? Some of you, and if you can attest to this, tap in with me. When you were doing and becoming who you were punished. And so you kind of learned not to act like who you really were because they punished you for being that. You were the creative one. You were the one that had all these ideas. You were the one that you could look at something and be like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. You were that one that was a shining star. You were the one of the family that people looked at and they were like, yes. But then there were people that were like, no, you're drawing too much attention to yourself. Don't draw attention to yourself. And the sad thing is, if people don't know you, they can't flow you. And so in business, guess what? That old domesticated thought is don't shine too bright. Don't let people know what you're doing. Do it in silence and then let it be shown. You know, and in business, I found out more and more. Once again, if they don't know you, they can't flow you. And when I say that, that means that if nobody knows who you are, how can they flow you opportunities, business, money? In other words, if you're sitting back hiding in the cut, expecting people, well, they'll just find out. No. What if you start actually opening your mouth and letting them know the things that you're doing? Some of you are on this screen right now that you have a master's, a doctorate, and you don't let people even know what you have. I don't want nobody to know because I don't want them to treat me any different. Did you get them domesticated to where now you're ashamed of the work you put in to become who you are? Are you kidding me? And then plus all that student loan debt you in? You better start telling somebody about what you've been doing, because ultimately when it boils down to it, you did it. You accomplished it. Don't be ashamed or afraid, or don't let that old mindset of don't let people know. Be humble. I believe that some people have a sense of false humility and they say the word humble, but really what they should say is I'm hiding. So are you humble or are you hiding? Just do me a favor. If you resonate with one of those two statements, type in there, yeah, I'm hiding. I ain't that humble. In my mind's eye, I'm kind of proud that I did what I did. I did that. I did that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, forget that, man. You better put a blinker on. Blink, 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 blink. I did it. And I mean, if you think about all the blood, sweat, and tears that you put into it, and now you're gonna allow somebody to dumb down and make you feel bad because you've become something better? Are you? Anyways, okay, let me move on from that. Some of you guys ain't feeling me, I don't think, on that. But the question is now, you've lined up what everybody else wanted you to be. You got the job. You did this. In other words, everything that people told you to do, you filled in the blanks. You got the good job. You married the guy that got you pregnant, even though you didn't even really like him. It just kind of was one of those flings that kind of happened. And then anyway, but the family said that you got to get in there. I'm helping some of y'all right now. You feel obligated because of what society and people have told you that you should do because once you do this, you got to do this. And before you know it, you done made 5 mistakes because you wanted everyone else to be comfortable. And now you're miserable in a situation that you never should have been in, but you did it to please people. Any people pleasers on my Zoom tonight? I know you might not want to admit it, but low key, you pleased other people by doing what you believe is right, okay? Now, my question now is, whose dreams are you really following? Family? Society? How have you gotten domesticated to where now you're not even following your dream? You're not even flowing in the things that you really want to do. You've now succumbed and been broken by life to the point to where now you become where everybody else is happy at who you are, number one, because you didn't outshine them. That's why they really happen low key. They don't want to tell you that, but that's why they're really happy. And then number two, they're content because now they don't have to do anything more. And some of them have given up already on their life. And so now they put their broken and destroyed life on you. No, man, you need to do da 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 da. Well, wait a minute, it didn't work for you. You did the what they call the American dream. You went after the pension and all that stuff, and then they started laying folk off, and you got laid off like everybody else. You ended up in a whole other place like everybody else. So at some point, we have to ask ourselves, whose dream am I really following? Am I still following my mama them dream? Or am I actually doing what I should be doing? I knew from the core of me that I had to be an entrepreneur. But when I became an entrepreneur, I couldn't tell nobody. You ever heard somebody say, I couldn't tell nobody. Only body I told was, of course, my wife and my pastor. Those only 2 people I told when I stepped out of a government job, which everybody said, oh man, you in the military, man, you really doing it, man. You serving your country. Yes, all those things were great. But I was in the military on WIC. See, you didn't know that part, huh? I was in the military. They're trying to push us into government housing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all don't. So we can get so to the point where we make everybody else happy, but we don't fulfill our true purpose and what we should be doing. Okay? This is a heavy topic tonight. I hope you guys are following me a little bit. So I'm gonna move a little further because my battery's going low. So at some point, animals, once they're broken, they don't escape. Like right now, I can open the door to my garage and my dog ain't going nowhere. Some of you have been so domesticated that they don't need to put anything up or barrier to stop you because you've already stopped yourself. Am I talking to anybody on this Zoom tonight? You know, at some point, the horses, they fence them in with electric fences, but they can actually take those electric fences down because now the horses ain't going nowhere because after being punished for trying to be great, they now decided that it was easier not to be great. Oh my goodness. So this is something, guys, that we got to look at. Am I now domesticated because I want to be? Back in the day, and some of you could relate to this, a little history for you, men, slaves had earrings put in. Now, back in those days, if you, as a man, put an earring in your ear, it meant that you were a willing slave. That meant that you were no longer bound to be a slave. You were actually a free man, but you made a choice to stay a slave. Now, they had reasons. Some of them had family. They didn't want to leave their families. Some of them had reasons why they did what they did. But my thought now is, are we doing that today? To where now we've literally become willing slaves to the system, to society, to what everybody else wants. Man, I need to publish this. Now, this message tonight needs to be published and shot out all over Facebook. I think I can help a few people with this message because there's something about knowing that many people have been broken to the point now to where they've left their dreams to chase somebody else's. They've left what they know to do to become like everybody else. And unfortunately, now people are suffering because you can't and not becoming what you should be. Nothing like a lion that's in one of those zoos. I don't know if you ever really looked at a lion in a zoo. I don't even know if lions in zoos roar. I think once they've been in captivity for so long, they just eat plant food. They might throw them a few meat here and there, but a lion is a carnivore. He's the king of the jungle. But imagine being the king of the jungle, but put in such a box to where you can't even rule your own atmosphere. You can't even go get food yourself. You can't even feed yourself. Everything you get is given to you. And now you've settled. And even if they left the cages open, people wonder why when people fall into these cages, why these animals jump on them and eat them, because that's their natural inclination. Some of you are natural warriors and lawyers, lions, and you're ones that go out and you want to kill your own meat. You want to go and take on the world. Your whole thought when you left your mama's house was, I'm not coming back here without being a millionaire, a multimillionaire. And all of a sudden life hit you. And you became somehow domesticated. And you became like everybody else. Oh my goodness. This is heavy stuff, guys. Here's a question for you. Has fear domesticated you? If that's you, put in chat, man, you talking to me tonight, man. You all up on my roll. You all, as they say back in I think in one of those places, they say, you're all over my toes. You're all over my toes. So has fear domesticated you? Has doubt domesticated you? And here's a big one, or maybe people have domesticated you. Gotten you so to the point that they trained you not to be different. Don't be smart. Too smart. Be smart, but not too smart. Don't be this, but don't be too much of this. Be outgoing, but don't be too outgoing. Don't do too much on Facebook because, if you do it too much, then people are talking about you. I mean, before you know it, you get all this stuff that people, man, you on there too much. Well, according to who? Who are you really though, guys? Before you got domesticated, who were you really? And when did you stop dreaming? What age was it that you remember that you actually stopped dreaming of a better tomorrow? I was talking to a young man, 67 years old. I'm moving a little bit, guys, because my battery is going low. But 67 years old, and I talked him into buying a house at 67 years old. So he's actually closing this week on a house that he didn't even think that he could get because he was 67 years young, I call it. And I told him when we first met, I said, man, it ain't over until it's over. And so when you're working with me, guys, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna placate you and tell you, oh, well, it might be too late. Maybe you should stop. That dream is never gonna happen. I need to let you know tonight that dream that you had as a child, that dream that you had when you first started out, when you first got in your own home, that dream that you said that I'm gonna do is still alive. Go get it. Stop allowing people and circumstances to stop you from being who you really are. You're a lion. Come out the cage. Become now great. A matter of fact, I keep saying it to you guys. I don't know how many of you guys get it, but I dare you to be great. In other words, I literally dare you to be who you really are. Greatness is in you, but now you must decide on what level of greatness you want to be in. All right? I'm moving around a little bit, guys. Talk in my chat a little bit. Let me see what's going on in my chat. I'm resituating, but I need to see some chat action. What are you getting tonight? What are you getting tonight? All right. Light that chat up. I want to see some thoughts on tonight. Some of you are like, whoa, I didn't expect this. He's supposed to be a performer. I'm a performance coach. In other words, I'm saying, let's perform. I'm not saying, well, it's okay. I think that you've done enough already. No, what do you still need to accomplish? What is your dream? What is your purpose? What is your destiny? Some of you right now, people are dying while you're trying to make up your mind whether I'm going to fulfill my purpose. You've gotten domesticated. So, guys, man, I hope I helped you a little bit tonight. A lot of stuff going on in the world, a lot of stuff going on in everywhere else. But I'm finding out more and more, guys, that we've absolutely got to make sure that we don't lose focus on who we really are. It's not that you can't change. And that's the great thing about being in the US of A, to where you can change at any moment. Do you know that anything can shift by one decision? One decision that I'm not going to be like everybody else. One decision that I'm going to actually shine and be who I know I'm to be. One decision, one shift. That's why when you're working with me, guys, I'm not looking to say I'm going to wow you every week or every time we talk. But what I am going to do is plant little nuggets, little seeds. And I call them seeds of greatness. I'm going to keep planting seeds of greatness in you. And I know some of you that ride with me and hang out with me, you're going to start blossoming to become who I know you to be deep down inside. Now, who was it that told you to get your head out of the clouds? You need to go back and, no, don't stop. But you need to recall, where did I stop dreaming at? Where was it? When someone died, did I stop dreaming? Was it when things shifted? Did I stop dreaming? Did I think it was over? Is it my age now? Colonel Sanders didn't become Colonel Sanders until he was over 65 or something. Bill Gates wasn't Bill Gates as a baby. I'm telling you, he got older and now he's doing, some other guys I'm watching, they got in their 50s and they became great at a certain point. Ain't no young presidents. I don't know what the youngest president is, but he wasn't super young, that's for sure. So I'm letting you know that a lot of this stuff, it happens as you mature and get to where you're at. I believe 40 is a sacred number. 40 is a year of testing. So many of you, if you walked this earth for 40 years, you've been tested for 40 years. Now it's time to actually pass the test and become what you should become to be what I know you're called to do. Last dig, and I'm going to shut up and we're going to have a little conversation around this. Have you become a pretender? Have you become a pretender? In other words, have you gotten so good at downplaying who you are? The old folk back where I'm from call it perpetrating a fraud. Have you been perpetrating a fraud so long that you don't even realize that you become the great pretender? The one that pretends that they're not smart. The one that pretends they don't know big words or have an amazing conversation. Ones that act like they can't do this or can't do that, but really you can, but you just made a choice not to because you didn't want to have other people tell you, oh, you're just doing too much. Why are you trying to be that? You know, you should just settle in and enjoy your life. Why are you working so hard? Slow down, slow down. Anybody got people like that? Put that in my chat. I got people tell, slow down, slow down. And those are the people that gave up on their dream. And they like you as the great pretender. They like you being someone that you're not because they feel comfortable. I need you to change. I need you to shift. I need you to become what you're called to be. All right, I'm done with my monologue tonight. I hope you got something out of this. I would love to hear some feedback before we sign off for tonight. Delshana, I see you over there looking like I just am about to explode. And then Troy, I'm coming to you, and Robbie, come on, I need to hear what you're thinking tonight. I love it because I hopefully we're on the same page. Come on, Delshana, what you got?
Oh my God. So I was in a class and just, not connecting with the information and like figuring out, but there's this disconnect, and what is that disconnect? And just as quickly as I asked a question, I received the answer, and that was because you don't show up for you. And Delshana, you don't show up for you the way you show up for everybody else. And so what you're talking about tonight is this kind of reiterating and kind almost like fueling that response. And so I keep hearing, show up for you, Darshana, show up for you, Darshana, show up for you, Darshana. And I think that's just a powerful place and revelation and realization to be recognizing that those of us who are brilliant, those of us who have those witty inventions and that creativity and that awesomeness about us, how much people benefit off of that without anything in return coming to us. And then we live a depleted life trying to figure out why our dream didn't come true. It's because we were living in their dream and pouring our energy and ourselves into their dream while our dream withered away. So tonight was definitely a bam bam. I don't know how else to say it. I don't have the language for it, but bam bam. You got that was a two. What do you call it? Two? A boom boom knockout. That's a double time. A pop pop. In terms of just really reiterating. I don't know how many times I gotta hear it, or anybody else for that matter. Like, we are great. We're powerful beyond measure.
Yes.
Have what it takes. We know what to do. We have the answers to the questions that people are asking. We have integrity. We are trustworthy. We're the ones who deserve to be at the head of the table, to deserve to be at the head of state, deserve to be as ruler and influencer over the mountains that are before us, but we have to show up for ourselves.
That's powerful. Wow.
That's my takeaway.
That is powerful. That is powerful. That is, man. Thank you, Sabrina. You are absolutely right. That is powerful. Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing. Come on. Let me go to Troy real quick. Then I'm coming to Robbie and Sabrina. I got to hear from you. And we're going to open this thing up a little bit. But let's talk about this, guys. One thing I need you to know, the reason I like the discussion is because sometimes you need to hear yourself say who you really know you are. And then something's going to click. I don't know when, but I just know that you keep rolling with me, it's gonna start clicking. You're gonna be like, oh my God, what shifted? What is just that constant little seed of greatness I keep planting? You don't know it, but I always tell myself, I just wanna walk away and just plant a seed of greatness. And that seed is gonna grow. And I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna throw a little water on it. I'm gonna come back and throw a little fertilizer. In other words, I wanna help you by telling you the truth, but hopefully also encouraging you, but also challenging you to become who I know you're called to be. So I am a performance. I promise you, this, what I do is not just like, oh, well, he says he's a performance coach. What's different about that? Because I'm focused on, let's get it done. the other people might talk about it, but I'm gonna say, what are we doing? You sit down with me for our first consultation. I'm gonna find out what you want. And some of you already can attest, I'm gonna say, let's get it done. And I'm gonna ask you, what are you doing about it? And so in other words, I'm gonna hold you accountable if you let me. All right, Troy, man, let's hear from you. I know you're working, and hopefully you got a few seconds you can give us and give me a little thought feedback of what you're thinking there.
Well, like you said, I'm listening in and out. Very dynamic up here. But I remember you said earlier, not too long ago, 40 years that year. Today I just turned 34.
Wow. Happy birthday. Give a shout out for Troy. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you, but it's always reflective. I truly am grateful for like another year, and I'm thankful for the position I'm in. And even in that position, knowing that I don't know nothing, and that's a beautiful thing. But at the same time, we can continue with this conversation and understand that ever since young, I've moved a different way, right? And I've never felt like I had to fit myself in a box. I did feel I had to kind of tone it down at times. I've always lived my truth. I always strive for better. And I know that life happens. And sometimes, let's say your fire might come to a simmer of sorts, right? But like deep down, it's always like a roar. I know you said, I don't want to call you a beast. I'm gonna say like warrior mindset, because you never quit, and in that, I'm seeing that when I'm sharing my words, people are listening these days. And I'm appreciative of that because I'm still trying to hone in, and perfect that craft, if that makes sense. But I know I say it every week. I appreciate y'all for just being so candid, so open, you know. I am definitely taking it in, even if I can't 100% always focus, you know, I'm taking it in, I'm sipping on something with these words and it's marinating and it's like confirmation. So I just know I'm in the right place. It's confirmation. It's like rewind, reminder, replay that, reminder. I'm excited. I'm very excited. And before I digress, that's my little word sometimes. I played a recording for my boys. You know, he was like, "Sir, what you listening to?" Sir. I said, "Yeah, that's my mentor. You know, the same way I mentor you guys. Like listen, I'm not too above it all to, you know, take some word, gain some wisdom and some guidance." He was like, "Okay, sir." You know, so I'm appreciative. I'm truly appreciative and just ready for more growth. I think some people may be in fear of growth sometimes. I'm one that is, again, I'm beating my chest. I'm like that competitor. It's like you said, you know, I'm like, let's go, you know, let's go. But I gotta calm it down because I got my tone nice, you know, and just to be able to tap in like this with a dorm that's chill. After some things I could tell y'all jaw would be dropped right now, you know. I'm grateful, and it's yet another reminder that I'm moving in the right direction, if that makes sense.
Wow. That's the goal, my friend. Man, we all need people around us, and that's the key. This environment, this group of people, you guys, I believe it's going to free a lot of your minds because I know there's a lot of people out there, man, but I just want to free you. I want to free you to be you 100. That's the word we use, right? 100. So Troy, thanks for sharing, man. Happy birthday, my friend. This is gonna be your best year yet. I'm gonna speak it into your life, man. It's gonna be your best year ever. You're gonna look back and be like, man, things shifted this year. And so watch it happen, man. But God bless you, man. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate your word, man. Robbie, you got young blood. Robbie, what you thinking over there? I see you in the dark, or you look like you're in the witness protection program. You in Woodstack.
Okay, so I know that I used to be domesticated when I came around friends and certain people. But as I'm growing, I'm knowing that they saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And so it was a bit intimidating for them. And so what they would do is talk me down to make them feel better. And so that would make me dim my light to try to fit in with everybody else. So now as I have matured and, you know, I'm starting to do my own thing, I'm noticing those same people don't understand why I'm not giving them all the energy that I used to give them, because now I'm just giving that energy to myself.
Wow, that's crazy. So how does it feel right now knowing that you're in a good place mentally, physically, and actually moving towards something? Even though I know for you and talking to you, not as quick as you want it to be, but yes. I'm telling you guys, it's not about the fastness. You're moving in that. That's what you got to get excited about.
Yes, and I think, like you said, sometimes the hard part is trusting the process, because the process is not always as quick as you would like it to be. But knowing that you know that there's a entrance or a light at the end of the tunnel, or the tunnel, you can see the light down. And sometimes you be in a place where it's just all darkness and you don't see any light because you have no idea what you're doing and where you're going. So knowing that I can see a light, and I know that all my dreams, like I can have it all, I can see that light down.
Wow. That's huge. That's huge. Robbie, thanks for sharing. Appreciate you. Sabrina, what you got? What you thinking over there? I appreciate you jumping on tonight.
You always have impeccable timing because I was just talking. I have a lot of self-talk, a lot of talks with myself. I'm either rebuking my flesh to get up and get moving, don't listen to the enemy, or I'm pumping myself up to get motivated. Because you really have to, sometimes you are all you have. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I mean, we're not alone, right? We have our spiritual faith and our walk and stuff like that. But I mean, it's like we can either be our worst enemy or our best friend, our, life coach. It all wraps in, together. But I had that talk with myself about not hiding anymore. True. This is so true. Not hiding anymore, not yielding to fear, no more excuses, and stop talking yourself out of your blessing. I'm telling myself this.
Wow.
And then when I get inspiring ideas or business deals or just different things that come my way, instead of talking myself out of it, I'm going to ask myself, why not? Why not me? So the only thing that I'm going to leave everyone is with this. Don't be afraid of growth. It may look hard. It might even be hard in the beginning, but the rewards are huge. It's worth it. It's worth it. But I am so glad to be a part of this group because this is exactly what I need. I need that edge. I need to be surrounded by like-minded, winning, successful individuals. Even though we haven't accomplished all of our goals yet, they are coming because we're going to consistently renew our mind and motivate ourselves every single day to get there. We just have to be around like-minded individuals to encourage, to learn from. And that's why I'm glad I'm here. So thank you, everybody. It's wonderful to meet you. I learn a lot. I take away so much. And it's definitely life-changing every single session we have. It's definitely life-changing. And the onus and responsibility is on us to take this knowledge and apply it. And that's what I'm determined to do. So thank you, RW, for doing this. And thank you, everyone that's on here that's opening up and being transparent and vulnerable and sharing. Because being comfortable in your truth empowers yourself and it empowers others. So I just want to thank you all.
Wow, appreciate you, Sabrina. Thank you so much. Great words. Thank you for those kind words. We're excited. I'm excited to be just a part of what you're doing. I like just being attached to greatness. So I feel you. I like being around people that know that there's more to it. And just, I was one of those people that struggled. And now I'm so comfortable in my own skin. And I love me and I love who I am. And as I share with my wife often, I'm so thankful she allows me to be me. I told her, I thank God we'll be married 28 years this end of this month of a wonderful, amazing marriage, which is such a blessing. And I say that because most people don't. And I found out that if you don't say something, then how do people know that there are still great marriages out there where people actually love each other, take care of each other, and make sure that each other is good? We have to become examples. I get up every morning and I say, just make me an ambassador, make me an example, my life, because there's so many people that right now we need leadership. And so I need you guys to step into those positions that are void, the positions that are vacant, and making sure that now you become the change that you want to see. So this is great stuff, guys. Great stuff. Let's see. Sharday, what'd you get on tonight? I know you're running and moving with the kids. Did you get a little something?
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Yes, I have to say that I do agree a lot about what Troy and what Sinclair, is that your name? Is that what she, I think that's her name. Yeah, what she said. Because, people will try to want you to stay hidden because they don't want you to be out. They want you to keep those, hold on, let me go somewhere else. I would say like people hate to see you move forward with things. definitely don't want to see you succeed. Not everybody, but you do have those groups of people that are like that. But you got to like I think it's like 2 Thursdays ago when you said we got to keep it 100 with ourselves. We have to be our true, authentic self, no matter what. There's no point of hiding because it is what it is. Something really short what happened to me this past week was I was kind of going through because I'm getting ready to relaunch my business. And I was just discussing with one of my friends of how like my vendor, they went up like a few dollars on their shirts or whatever. So I was saying that what I'm probably going to have to do is more likely go up. And the first thing they said was, yeah, I agree. They'll be like, well, don't you think it's going to be too much? You know, why would you say that? Why would you want something to go up when gas is going up, rent is going up, people are losing their places, and, you know, food is going up, and then you want to make your shirts go up? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to them as to why I'm saying that. And it's like, I'm not going to dub down or go in fear anymore. I'm just going to put it out there and let it do what it do. Because at the end of the day, I believe that God truly gave me this business, and I just don't want to go out there and just put anything on there because I'm trying to benefit other people. I'm trying to benefit you. I don't feel like the prices are too expensive. And I'm not saying that you have to truly buy from me if you feel like they are too expensive. But I'm tired of trying to dumb myself down to other people's level because they feel like I shouldn't do that because that's not where they're at, or they just can't afford it. It's just simple as that. So that's what I got from today.
Man, that's a whole lot, darn. I hear you. I hear your heart in that, man. I'm with Troy, man. And you guys don't know it, but there are times I just I just feel like I want to. It's like you want to tear something up. You want to go get something. You know, I don't know if you guys sense that from me, but I'm one of those guys, man. I am very passionate about just doing what you do to the full. And I feel like a lion. I feel like we want to go just go get some, just go tear something up, just go do what we're supposed to do and become the exact best. You know, matter of fact, I'm gonna challenge some of y'all, man. You need to start roaring, start getting to that place to where you start walking, looking in the mirror and applaud yourself. If they don't appreciate who you are, you appreciate who you are. Doggone it, you've been through enough to where now you deserve good things. And no, you don't have to placate. You don't have to put yourself down to make other people feel good. Matter of fact, you're gonna lose some friends, good riddance. I believe it could be your shaking time. Time to be shaking some folk loose and getting around the right people that are gonna push you. And you know you be in this group, I didn't come to play with you. I came to change your life. And I wanna make sure you become exactly what you want. So thank you so much, guys, for being on tonight. Thank you for catching me. I know I was kind of moving a little bit all over the place, but man, I hope you feel me when I say, I believe this truly is your time. This is your season. This is the time that now I believe everything changes for you. All right. So if I go back into, of course, you know, I got to get back into my little slide here. So here's a question I want you to ask yourself. Don't do it now, but if you can, take a picture of it if you got your phone, and just how have you been domesticated? And then ask yourself, in what areas, you know, if that be you, you know, and when I say domesticated, remember the real you, the authentic you. Because I mean, some of you, like Troy, you should be a multi-millionaire by now. What you're doing right now is cool, but you ain't nowhere near where I know you could be. I'm gonna bust you out like that because I love you. So you got a decent life. At how old? 34, you said, I think you turned today. But hanging out with me, give me 3 years. You'll be leaving that job and you'll still be helping kids, but you'll be doing it on your terms. Anyway, some of y'all don't realize it, but I want to work with some of y'all. I see it, and man, I tell you, I want to help you get to where you want to be. There's so much more to it. I know there is. So next thing is, what needs to change now for you to become who you really are? What needs to change? Because obviously, guys, here's my test. Remember, if you're not where you want to be, that means something has to shift. And it's not a major shift. It's just one little thought. I know for me, the game changer was when I left the military. I ain't telling nobody leave their job. There's that disclaimer. I'm telling nobody leave their job. Stay where you at. Matter of fact, I'm going to talk about how to transition from your job. We might talk about that next week. It's on my list. But I want to show you that it's time now to start making that plan. okay? And starting to get yourself in position, because if you say, and if you know right now where you're at is not going to get you there, then my question to you is, what are you going to do about it? I'm a performance coach, remember? So it's not going to be, well, you're going to work your way. No, no, no. What are you going to do about it? Okay? So process that for me. And then, of course, the last thing is just what's stopping you from being the best version of you. And notice I said what, not who, because I truly believe nobody can stop you unless you allow them to. Some of you, the hardest thing is going to be in this next, this is, what's this, May? In the next 11 months, not 11 months, 6 months, is it 7 months, whatever's left in this year. For some of you, the hardest thing is going to know that you're going to have to shake some people that are near and dear to your heart, not because they're bad people, but because you're more important than that relationship with them. I'm just being completely 100 with you, okay? Of course, why do you need a performance coach? You just need somebody like me in your ear. One of the ladies I'm coaching, she's actually one of my $1,000 clients, and she's like, RW, every time I walk around, you're in my ear. And I told her, I said, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but she said it helps her make the right decisions. Because sometimes you need a sounding board. You know, some of the stuff that you doing, you just need someone to agree with you. Not agree just to agree, but someone to agree with you with a plan. And that's the key. That's what the difference is, guys. Accountability closes the gap between just intention and results. Because most of you have been intending to do what you're talking about, but you haven't done it. My goal is, as I sit down with you and say, what do you want? Those are gonna be my words. What do you want? Well, I don't know what I want. Well, let's figure it out. Because until we find out what you want, I can't help you. Because I'm only gonna push you in the direction that you want to go in. I don't push people where they don't want to go. I don't push people to be me. I'm already me. Me is enough. Trust me. You don't want no more me's running around this camp. But we need you to be who you need to be. And that's however you intend to be. Okay? Don't go it alone. Guys, you got to get this help. I'm so glad that you're on a Zoom tonight. Some of you, like I said, you're going to have to step your game up. You know, I have a client right now that honestly, I know she can't afford me. I know she can't. But for her, it's like, no, you're my last effort. And I told her, I said, come on, rock with me. Let's make it happen. And so in some people's life, you become seed. In other people's life, you become soil. And she told me, she said, man, RW, in my life, you're soil. And I got to sow into you because I know you're sowing and giving back into me. All right. So it ain't about what you can't do. The question is, what can you do? What can I help you do? All these things. You guys have a network. I do everything. So some of you have already taken advantage of some of the stuff I already do. I don't do it all, but I have access to it all. And once again, that's where the results come from, because you can't talk to me too long without doing some things that need to be done to make some changes. This is a value exchange. In other words, I want to teach you that you want to respect value that's given. And you want to make sure that you're aware that I pay a lot of money for my coach. I'm not ashamed to say I pay a lot of money for my coach. Matter of fact, 5 digits every year, only because it's made me so much better, you know, and it makes a big difference. But there's a value exchange. You know, time is money. Yes, it is. I know you don't think it is, but the problem that you have, and some of you that are coaches that are being coached by me now, I'm going to show you how to value your time. Because if you don't value your time, you won't value anybody else's. Okay? And also, sometimes your greatest sacrifice is the stretch of knowing that you need to do more and just making it happen. All right, you guys are on the weekly group coaching call, $99 a month. This gives you 4 weeks every Thursday from 6 to 7, sometimes 7:15, 7:20. Anyway, we try to work it out to where I just get you under an hour, okay? But you guys are there. Pretty much just jump in, get in when you fit in, it works, okay? Last thing is, some of you need to really step your game up to the next level. I've got a couple people now that have stepped their game up. I only have 7 slots left. I can only do so many, especially when it comes to the individual side. And so right now, those slots they're going. And once they're going, I'm pretty much, I can't do anything else. I'll have to open up some other opportunities to help people on another level just because of my schedule. Because the one thing I need you to remember is while I'm teaching you, I'm doing it. Let me say it again. I know you might know someone that, and even you might be a coach, and that's great. But while people are talking about what they're doing, I'm doing it. I'm making things that are happening right now. And so I think you want to be around somebody that you actually see the progress, you see the growth, you see the different things that are happening, okay? That'll help you grow and become even better, because to talk about it and to do it is a whole different ball game. And to me, you can't whine with me because I'm doing what you're talking about. So it's good to be around people like that, I believe, okay? Other than that, guys, much love. I'm gonna close it with the thing I say, I'm gonna keep saying, I dare you to be great. I dare you. All right, deuces, guys. Hey, shout out to my son, and shout out to you guys for being on the Zoom. Talk to you soon. You be blessed. Bye.
Good night.
Night, guys.